Hello there and welcome to your Friday One show live on BBC One and iPlayer with Gethin Jones.
And Alex Jones. It was Wales' second game of the World Cup this morning. Didn't go to plan. We lost to Iran 2-0. England play tonight and then England play Wales next Tuesday. Can I tempt you for that one?
I'll be in. I will.
Thinking about it.
Well, the thing is, tonight is a football-free zone and we are kicking off your weekend with a musical legend, aren't we? Sir Cliff Richard is in the building and very shortly he'll be telling us why he's back to top the charts this Christmas and how a touch of tinsel helped him write one of his biggest hits. We can guess which one that is, can't we?
Let's say hello to our wonderful guests this evening, Sir Cliff Richard and Charlie Brooks.
Give me that yeah.
Don't leave him hanging. Never leave Cliff hanging. Cliff, just talking about teachers there, the wonderful work that they do. Is it true to say without your drama teacher, your career may never have happened?
Well, I mean, she did put me in the right direction. One of the first things I remember before I left school, I hadn't done so well at exams and things. I was thinking about Elvis all the time. And she said to me, Harry, that was my original name, Harry, you must find a job where you smile at women. And I thought, that's what I've done the whole of my career. And she got me to join the Drama Society. And I played in some plays, and then we did Wind in the Willows by A.A. Milne. And I played Ratty. Oh. And Ratty had to sing. And I said, well, I can't sing, not if there's going to be lots of people out there. And she said, well, if you don't sing, you don't get the part. And that's when I thought, I'm ambitious, because I said, OK, I'll do it. And it was a silly little song. It's called Duck's Ditty. Down among the backwater through the rushes tall, ducks are a-dabbling up, tails all. It went on a bit. But it wasn't exactly memorable, but she got me to do that. So she played a major role, really, and giving me acting roles and things like that. So it helped me in the career that I finally found myself in.
It's amazing because everybody's got that one teacher that stands out, don't they?
Usually, yes.
Yeah, usually they do. Now, Charlie, it's amazing that you two are on together because there's a family mystery that Charlie would like you to solve. So, Charlie, you set the scene and tell Sir Cliff what he needs to sort out for you.
So the story went, Cliff, that you, back in the day, were a roadie for my granddad. Now, this could have been changed, and it might be a myth, we don't know. You're a roadie for my granddad, and one evening, the lead singer went off, and you stepped in, and there was a scout in that night, and that's when you were discovered.
Absolute rubbish.
Oh, it was such a brilliant build-up as well, wasn't it?
Such a brilliant connection.
No, the funny thing, the only person that ever came to me, I had two friends, a drummer and another guitarist, so we used to play in pubs and things. And one of the places we played was in Hoddesdon.
Yeah, and that's where they're from. Terry Clark, he was one of an identical twin.
So the story is close.
OK.
But this guy suddenly walked in this day, and he was a big leather jacket, and he listened, and we played, and he said, I can make you a star. And, of course, after we picked ourselves off the floor laughing, he did, in fact, help very much because he got me to play in the Two Eyes Coffee Bar, and slowly things happened. But sometimes it takes... That's why I was never really... other than with my band, I was never around waiting to take someone else's place.
You were always the star.
We've done some myth-busting there. Hey, you're the star of Christmas, that's true. Where have you been? You're back after 19 years, you've got an album. Please tell me you're still singing the classics. We want Mistletoe and Wine.
We do.
Is it happening?
It has to be.
Everybody thinks I own Christmas. I don't. I've had 4 number ones, which doesn't mean you own anything. So I consider myself fortunate, but all of us, as recording artists, the period between October and December and January is always the biggest sales for records, so everybody played. So you were against huge competition. The fact that I won 4 of them, I feel quite proud of. So the record company said, we'd like you to do another Christmas album. You haven't done one for 20 years. And they wanted me to do old classic ones. I said, OK, but if I can find a couple of new ones? Fortunately, I did. I found 3 new songs, and I played it to them, and they liked them, so they're on there. But otherwise, it's just a fun Christmas album. 2 producers. One was a rock and roller, and one was more of a ballady type guy, because I like dynamics. So 1 minute I'm singing, "A child is born." Next thing I'm going, rocking around the Christmas tree. So it's got dynamics to it, you know, and I'm very happy with it, but, you know, you don't know what's going to happen to a record. You release it and then keep your fingers crossed.
I think you'll
So I've got my fingers crossed.
We're renaming Christmas 2022 Cliffmas.
Yes. Happy Cliffmas.
Happy Cliffmas.
Cliff at Christmas. That's what we say, yeah.
There you go.
Also, we can get ready for Christmas with you. A one-off BBC show that you're doing towards Christmas with Sarah Cox, going back to what was home from home, music-wise, and Abbey Road.
Yes, I went to Abbey Road to do with Samantha Cox, to do some interview that they'll slot in between the songs that we sing. And it was fantastic. It was at Abbey Road. And I always like talking about Abbey Road because everybody thinks that the Beatles invented it. No, they did not. I was on Abbey Road 5 years before they started. And I always say to people, they didn't own it. I owned it. They merely rented it for a while.
Brilliant.
But they did make it famous. They made an album called Abbey Road, and when we started, The Shadows and I, we were just merely into singles. For the first 2 years, we hardly didn't do an album. They came in doing albums and things, and they had the Abbey Road, and they made it famous. Can't take that away from them.
You can't. Well, look, you can get Cliff's new album, Christmas with Cliff, from today, and you can catch Cliff at Christmas on BBC Two later next month. Merry Cliffmas. There you go.
Lots to look forward to. This weekend, when the winner of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here will be crowned.
Oh, yes.
Ex-champion on the sofa.
Oh, 2012.
Yeah.
10 years ago, can you believe it?
10 years ago, of course, it's a decade. Wow.
First question everyone asks is, what did you eat as you came out of the jungle? What was the first thing you ate?
Everything. A sausage bap was the first thing I ate.
Good choice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
breakfast,
nice.
and it was there in the catering van, and it was delicious.
Oh. Well, you've now gone highbrow. You're at the National Theatre.
I know.
Oh, my goodness. The Ocean at the End of the Lane. Now,
Yeah.
this is a tricky-ish play to explain. I'm excited to know how you're going to concisely kind of sum this up.
Okay, I'm going to give it my best shot. First of all, it's a dream come true. But it's a story of a man who recently lost his father. And he takes a trip down memory lane and reinvestigates that relationship through the eyes of his 12-year-old self. It's a play about friendship, it's about adventure, it's about his friendship with Letty, who's a magical, ever-young lady. It's full of hope, it's got puppetry, illusions, it's cinematic, so it's really good to get your teenagers from their screens and into the theatre. I play a character called Ursula Monckton, who comes in to look after the young boy, and she's kind of a super nanny type character. But she's also, well, she could potentially be an alien sort of from another planet. But she's just looking for a home, really.
Oh, great.
But it's fantasy,
And it's based on a book, isn't it, by Neil Gaiman?
It's based on Neil Gaiman's book,
Yeah.
And she doesn't start killing anybody, does she?
No, no.
But she is a bit of a villain, isn't she?
Well, it depends how you see her,
Oh.
These characters are often quite complex, and she really is just looking for somewhere to belong, I think, like so many troubled people.
Yeah.
You know, she sort of wants to come and make everyone happy.
I think, do we all agree, I think Janine on EastEnders was a villain, though. That's how you perceive her. And you do like this role, don't you? It must be a fun thing to do, playing a villain.
Well, it is, because you can get underneath the skin of these characters, you know. It's always more interesting, I think.
Yeah.
And Janine, I mean, Danny Dyer and I would have arguments all day long because I'd constantly try and defend her. It does get to the point where I'm like, I actually can't do it anymore. But is she a killer or is she... They're all accidents, you know. It's all up for debate.
Accidents.
It's all up for debate.
This is the thing, your final scene on EastEnders, very sad, is on Boxing Day. It'll air. Any accidents to report on that one?
I actually can't say. All I can say is that those episodes are, I hope they're going to be, you know, they'll be fantastic. They're quite filmic. There's lots to look forward to. It's sort of the three of them, Mick, Linda and Janine, there's, you know, high drama.
The build-up to Christmas EastEnders is just absolutely fantastic, isn't it? And I think we all remember, you know, the biggest accident of all, maybe, with...
Pushing off the cliff.
The cliff.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I mean, everyone seems to remember this moment, don't they?
I get it most days.
Do you?
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you pushed Barry off that cliff?
That's
There we
definitely
go,
a push.
Barry.
That was definitely a push. That's not an accident.
Yeah. The end of the road for Barry.
Yeah, they're brilliant. Charlie, the Ocean at the End of the Lane is touring UK and Ireland.
Yes.
From December the 12th?
From December all the way through to next September. We go all over. It's, you know...
It's a long
With
stint
display.
then.
It's a long stint. It's an amazing company. I've got to give a shout out to the cast and the company and the creatives who are just an absolute joy to work with.
Brilliant.
And, you know, come and see it. It's a really high energy, amazing show. It's really is theatre. It's magical.
As
Sounds
is
fantastic.
EastEnders, which continues on Monday night, 7 o'clock on BBC One and iPlayer 2. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
And from the small screen to the airwaves now, where Radio 2 DJ Gary Davies entertains the nation, of course, with sounds of the 80s.
Before we hear how he's taken his show on the road, let's rewind the clock 40 years to his time on Top of the Pops.
Top of the Pops. Tonight we have an excellent show for you. In the studio we have Eric Clapton. Curiosity Killed the Cat, also Man to Man meets Man Parish. But first we start with a band who just released their first single. It's the highest new entry in the chart this week. Here's Westworld and Sonic Boom Boy.
Oh, he's here, everybody. Welcome, Gary.
I know, I've not changed a bit, have I?
Well, I tell you what, it's lovely to see that clip, actually, all the fashions and the girl standing next to you, and you do think, oh, that's quite trendy these days.
Yeah, it could work, yeah.
Now, we hear that one of your first interviews, as it so happens, was Sir Cliff.
It was Cliff, yes. When I just started in radio in Manchester, I used to work for Piccadilly Radio.
Yeah.
And the first person I interviewed was you.
Were you nervous?
I was petrified. I mean, you know, he's obviously a massive legend now, but he was a legend then.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like 79, 1980, probably something.
Yeah, I
like
was
that.
already a legend.
Yeah. And, I mean, I don't actually recall what we talked about. I know the interview went well because the second interview I did went terribly.
Who with? Come on, tell us.
Come on.
Susie and the Banshees. And they gave me a really hard time. So I remember that interview for all the wrong reasons.
Oh.
Ours must have gone brilliantly.
Well, fantastic. I mean, I do remember going to that place and studio and talking to you, but I can't remember, I can't remember what we talked about either.
Not
many people can.
We'll be doing the same. Gary, presenting Radio 2's Sounds of the 80s. It's so popular, so much so, you're taking it on the road. Tell us more.
Oh, can't wait. Can't wait. Do you know, when I took over the show just over 4 years ago from Sarah Cox, I think my third show was doing it live from Ibiza, and it was just brilliant. And ever since then, I've been dying to let me do a show live again. And we tried, you know, over the COVID times, we had to cancel a couple of bookings that we had in, but finally it's happening. A week on Saturday at the Regent Theatre in Stoke. We're going to bring the show from the studio. We're going to do it live. All the features that we have in the show, like the master mixes, we're going to have the master mixes. We've got some amazing Sounds of the 80s dancers that are going to come and do...
Some live performances too?
Oh, absolutely. We've got Claire Grogan from Altered Images.
Yeah.
She's going to be performing. And Holly Johnson, the voice of Frankie Goes to Hollywood, he'll be there too. So it's just going to be an absolutely brilliant 80s party.
And are you expecting the audience to be dressed up? People need to know so that they can prep.
Well, I'm head to toe in Lycra, so if they
All right.
You're like that anyway, Gary.
No.
We all
We've
know
got
that,
some
yeah.
people here who would really blend. I mean, it's pretty brilliant. Look, Jane says...
Yeah.
This is me doing hair modelling in the 1980s. Oh my goodness, you and her could be in the window of a hairdresser's you back in the 80s.
Real Alison Moyet looked that.
Yeah, but it's fair to say that music does bring people together, doesn't it? Like as Kevin's saying here, I met my wife Heather through a dating agency in 1987 and got engaged. What is this? We've got married the following year and been married ever since. But I think they met at one of your gigs. I think that's the bit that's missing. That message that's going into that thing. Where's this going?
Hang on. Michelle says, I met Gary a couple of times and he was always really nice. My nan and I used to go on holiday to Torbay and we would go to the Radio 1 Roadshow and at the end we'd queue for an autograph with him.
Yeah, well, the roadshows, I mean, they were just legendary. You obviously must have done quite a few Radio 1 roadshows.
I don't think I did the roadshow, no.
Really?
No, they've got no taste.
But, I mean, it was just, you know, every summer you'd head head off to the seaside,
Yeah.
and you'd be performing to like anything from 10 to 40,000 people on the beach.
Oh, I remember the Radio 1
was
road
fantastic.
shows. They were
It was-
brilliant.
They were fantastic. And then after we finished the show, we'd go into the Goodie Mobile and people would queue and we'd sign autographs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Stoke basically is going to be like the road
Like
show,
that.
except
except
it's
that
not
there.
in the sunshine, it's not on the beach, it's at the Regent
But it'll be
Theatre.
the people who remember the Radio 1 road shows. That's, you know...
Well, I
that
would hope
be
so.
brilliant.
But you don't even have to remember those times. You know, the 80s is for everyone, and we have so many younger listeners, you know, to the show every week. That
Yeah.
it really surprises me.
You'll have to come and see our show. It's all set in the 80s.
Really?
Yes, look at this,
Set in
it's
the
hanging up.
80s.
Yeah.
All
Let me
come
be in
together
it.
beautifully.
Uh,
a new
well,
band.
BBC 2, Radio 2 Sounds of the 80s will be live from the Regent Theatre, as you said, in Stoke on the 3rd of December, and tickets are available now.
Absolutely, that's all we've got time for tonight. Big thank you to our guests, to Sir Cliff, to Charlie and Gary.
Yes, we're off air now until Thursday because of the Men's World Cup. Have a lovely weekend and we will see you then. Thanks, Gav.